You're a private attorney for this one case, and your client is yourself. And once you become an attorney, you now go into the jurisdiction of the court. Well, it's your court anyway, but nevertheless, it's a different way. It's much better to be the king himself than somebody speaking for the king.
Well, that's what impropria persona is, improper.
Yeah, I said pro se. Okay, and
improper then.
Yeah, improper, which is abbreviation for impropria persona, that means you are yourself. But hey, I'm the plaintiff. That's good enough. You know, yes.
Yeah, I would like to share about the word plaintiff.
Plaintiff?
Yeah, when I was at the hallway, when they pulled me from the holding cell, before I went inside the court, the meaning of the plaintiff is you exercise your power, full power, directly. And when I add the word independently as a sui juris, that's why I was inside the court. But when I was right in the hallway, I found that that I don't have to be shackled. I go in the court without the shackle.
If you're a plaintiff?
I did act, even though I'm a defendant at that moment of time, but I act as a plaintiff. When I told to my public defender that I'm going to exercise my full power directly, and two deputies listening, normally they hang at me before I go inside the court. But that moment of time, I don't have a shackle on me. So it makes a whole lot different when they know what you're talking about. Okay, so you were in your own person, therefore they unshackled you. Yes. That's interesting. And the title you gave yourself was what? Well, in my mind, I am a plaintiff. Yes. The meaning of it is you will say it verbally. Let's say Ron is my public defender, and I will say, Ron, that's how I address the public defender. I call them by the first name. Hell of a deal. I don't call them lawyer or attorney. Sure. I say, Ron, you know what? I'm just going to exercise my full power directly. Right. Well, and I will not emphasize as I am a plaintiff. I will not say that. So they know the meaning what I just said, because I know plaintiff mean. Plaintiff mean you exercise your full right, your full power. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Yeah. So being the plaintiff means you're exercising your full powers. You're not giving up anything.
Aurora, did you say sui juris?
Well, they
don't understand sui juris. Okay,
when I was inside a court, since I was talking about public defender in the hallway before I get into the court, I didn't say sui juris. I did say when I was in front of the judge, but I said it again that I would like to exercise my full power directly and independently as a sui juris. Now, the judge did not comprehend how I pronounce it, so I repeat myself twice. But, normally you just ignore you. Okay.
So is sui juris even stronger or more appropriate than proper?
Well, sui juris does mean that you are in your own capacity. But look, this upper left-hand corner, all that is the contact. That's all that means. Who wrote the paper? Okay, was it attorney or what? Let me answer that, Mr. Bill. When we said proper, I did say that. Then they gave me this whole bunch of paper that I need to sign. But since I don't understand right there and then what I'm signing, even though I read through it twice, it's like I'm signing something that I'm not thoroughly understand. So, even though they give me a moment, but guess what? I said, I don't want to be a proper. But guess what? When I was about to sign it, the judge left. She went at the back. They gave me so ample time to take my time to really sign it. So in my gut feeling, something is wrong. I said, I'm not going to put myself into it. Because you signing it, you're waiving your rights right there and then. Even though it stays on the proper, to become a proper, you waive for counsel, something like that. So I back off. Even though I said I would like to be a proper. So that's their lingo. Now, I'm not going to be in their statute. I'm going to remain who I am. I don't know how long it takes. That's why I keep testing the water. That's why either I get vulnerable whatnot or cold whatnot. It doesn't matter. As long as I stand on it. Your own research. I'm on Discovery too. Okay, well, the next thing on this is we got another question? Okay.
If a person is a non-attorney, can they represent a plaintiff?
Well, you are the plaintiff and you can represent yourself, yes.
No, I mean, like, if somebody else doesn't know anything about the procedure, can I represent them? Do I need to file any kind of attorney or anything?
Yes, but only if you have the court's permission, and the court will not grant permission if you're not a member of the bar. But there are exceptions to that. In fact, there was a case where this father was representing his child in court, and so the opposing attorney objected to that, and the judge overruled the attorney and let the father speak for the child, as if the father were an attorney. That happens. You see, anybody can represent anybody in court if the court allows it. And in fact, if it's your court, you could actually have an attorney speak for you if you grant them permission. And I mean, that's the theory.
So can I speak for my mother?
Yes, but
what do I have to do?
Yes, but let me say this, that what's the primary purpose of the court? To put on a good show. You're not putting on a good show when you're not an attorney in their minds and you're speaking for them. It's not, just doesn't make a good show to them, and that's the people you're trying to impress. You know, if you are going to represent somebody, and if you can secure the permission, then you better be sure you put on a good show, because you start off at a disadvantage. A lot of times your credibility depends on their initial image of you. And if you are known not to be an attorney before you even speak, right away you have to prove yourself in their minds. Whereas if you're an attorney, you start off on a different level in their minds.
How about on the complaint, on the plaintiff? Can I put my name instead of my mom?
If you wrote the paper, you're the contact, sure. But then your mom, you see, again, like I said, you have to get the permission of the court to represent your mom. And look,
document
but let me say this. You're talking about their way of doing things, their system. Your mom is not here in class, and she's not learning this stuff. You are, and I'm telling you, you're walking into a trap if you try to represent your mom.
What is your suggestion?
I suggest either your mom get educated, and if she's not about to do that, remember there's an old saying, a maxim in law. You know what maxims are, right? Okay, maxims are general principles of law that guide the tribunal. It guides them in their decision makings. One of the principles or maxims is that the law does not protect he who slumbers on his rights. Okay, the law is not going to go out of its way to protect you. If you have no interest in your rights, then neither does the law. So if your mom is of a mind to not protect yourself, well, it's too bad. Creates a lot of work for you, because not only do you have to deal with the case, you also have to deal with her reluctance, and you also have to deal with the extra problem of somehow representing your mom's interests in the court that she's not interested in. And she'll say she's interested. I mean, I run into this all the time. There's no shortage of people who ask me to get involved with their cases. And it happens all the time. You know, I let them know right up front, I'll be happy to help you, but only if you'll help yourself. Okay? You don't want to get involved in your case? I'm no more interested in your case than you are. That gets rid of 99% of the challenges. Okay? Because people don't want to do what's necessary. I'll give them a reading assignment. Okay? I'll give them a reading assignment. They don't read. So you got a big problem on your hands when you go to handle somebody else's problems. And there are exceptions to that. You know, there are exceptions. You know, sometimes you get involved when you know you shouldn't.
Yeah. Can I mention something, Mr.
Sure.
Bill? My sons are not just to explain to you all, but this is my point. I cannot really share something if I don't know the meaning of everything, because I don't want to mislead anybody. That's why it took 461 days before I finalized it's time for me to get out. This is about all of us here. We know we love our family, But we cannot start anything else without really taking it from us ourselves. The point of what I'm saying is, that's why I'm able to stand up even when I'm inside shackle and things like that in the 10th hour. A lot of people help me out, read the Bible for your own comfort. But for me to stand here, I would like to share to you that it takes from you, it takes from each one of us for really what it stands for. So if you like your mother to learn about this, I have 3 daughters. They don't want nothing to do with it. So what I did is, okay, cut them off. Perfected yourself first, and then if you know everything now, go ahead and teach. But until then, don't.
Yeah, it's a rough lesson that you have to learn. I've tried to help people in the past, and without their cooperation. Okay? In other words, they tell me they wanted me to help, and I would help, and then I would try to compensate for their lack of participation. And frankly, it doesn't work. So.
But if my mom has a language barrier, she has no knowledge all the time, and she learns.
Always be a translator.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's all right. You can be a translator. You're not responsible other than for the accuracy of the translation. That you are responsible. And sometimes you have to fill in because your mom doesn't know how to express things, and so you can fill in your translation because you're translating the ideas, not the words. Okay? So that's fine that you're helpful, but don't confuse your translating job with actually becoming like her attorney, because she may or may not go along with some of the things you want her to do, and some of the things you do might get her in jail depending on the type of case, because you might make mistakes. And so it really is a tough decision to make. I've learned to back away from these things simply because I've tried too many times and seen how worthless it is to help somebody who doesn't want to be helped, although they say they want to be helped. It's no accident. These maxims that I talk about represent the wisdom of the ages. I mean, there's a lot of value there. You read those maxims. If you go to the California Civil Code, I think it's back in section 9,000 something, or way at the end, or 900, whatever it is, way back at the end of the Civil Code, they have a whole collection of maxims, I don't know, 12 or 24 of them. And you should read those because they express some very, very important points of philosophy that if you take them to heart, you realize it'll save you a lot of headache. Okay? And again, I know that we all have to go through this learning cycle where we sometimes take on tasks that we realize we shouldn't have. So, okay, well anyhow, you had a question back here, did you? I thought you did. Okay. Well anyhow, all right, moving on. Now, the next thing down on this thing is the name of the court, Superior Court of California. And that's always on line 8. That's universal. So any court in California, you put the name of the court on line 8. That guarantees that there's room in the upper right-hand corner for the clerk to make the stamp, the filing stamp. Okay? And then you put the venue, which here it says County of Los Angeles. Venue means the geographical location, the actual location of the court. Then on the left side here, you have a little divide. On the left side, you put the plaintiff and defendants. On the right side, you put the case number. And then you need a brief description. Now, the whole idea of that little block there where the description is to give the reader some idea what this is all about. Okay? This description does not control your paper. It's simply an aid to understanding for the reader. But the real meat is in the body of the paper. And then, in the case of a common law or even equity law, you put the word verified that means that at the end of your paper,